This question is for both of you. It's obvious that Maple High School is yet a new mayor. I would like to know, how are you, and be very detailed, how are you going to build a relationship with the new mayor and his or her administration? Thank you.
Me personally is meeting with whoever becomes the next mayor. We have to be on the same page of how we're going to address pressing issues. For example, we have a deficit. We are in fiscal emergency. And so the administration and the council will have to pass a 5-year financial recovery plan. We have to be in unison on that, and we have to be on point. So it's going to be important that the administration and the council president are working together addressing that financial emergency. So weekly meetings, one-on-one with the administration, as well as meetings with having a committee of the whole meetings with the mayor and the council members of how we can address these very crucial issues that we will be addressing in the next coming years.
As a community organizer, as a student government association coordinator, I was always required to meet with upper management, meet with people and stakeholders of the community. That's on a weekly basis. You don't always have to agree on everything, but you have to come up with a solution that's best fit for the people. Which means if we don't have to be friends, we have to be professionals. Which means we have to be able to communicate as professionals. We don't have to agree on everything that comes across our table because that's like happy. That's not going to work because then things may fall to the wayside just on our friendship alone. What I plan on doing, being a professional, showing up every single day, giving 100% effort, 100% energy to who I am, to the job at hand. Not take things personally. It's not a personal thing. It's not about ego. I'm able to step outside of what benefits me for what benefits the city of Maple Heights. And I've been doing that for a number of years. So there you go.
Excuse me. Can you quiet her down because they can't hear? My question was, because you guys have had a history of tourism and not too good communication with the current mayor, no disrespect to the current mayor, but I'm asking, how are you, in detail, going to build a positive relationship with the incoming mayor and his or her administration? How are you, not about block clubs, not about meeting with upper management, I come from corporate America, I know that. How are you going to build a positive relationship with the mayor in order to move the city forward for the entire collective whole? That is my question. Thank you.
Quite simply, team building exercises.
For me, the council president and the mayor, we need to meet and we need to prioritize and identify concrete challenges that we can work together in unison. Because like I said, there are some tremendous issues the city is facing, but we have to be able to identify the challenges and work together constructively on a plan of how we're going to work. And that means knowing, thank you for saying that, but coming together on issues and communicating, whether it's forming a CDC, or it's addressing home ownership, or the decreation of property values. How are we going to address them as an administration, as a council? Because the council passes the policy. The administration has the ability to introduce policy as well as work with other entities outside the city. We have to be pulling together, both legislatively as well as executively, on the challenges that we face. So it's important that the mayor and the council president can work together on challenges. It's not about team building or what I believe, how to tell the council what to do, but you have to be able to work together and say, these are our 3 priorities, this is what we're going to do.
For both of you, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. How do you feel about the senior center levy? And also, I want each of you to tell me, what do you think should be one solution or an idea that you have to address the issue we have of youth delinquency?
Cool. The senior center levy, currently, I will support the senior center levy, but with a stipulation. I believe that the senior center levy should have been introduced with an aspect of youth development as well. We can't address one issue and neglect another issue. I believe that there are a number of residents within our community who will vote yes on the senior center issue if it was tied into things that affected them. Some of them aren't seniors, but they do have children. They would have passed that levy a lot easier. When it comes to youth delinquency, to start a youth program, you really don't need anything but a ball and a volunteer, to be honest with you. I've been a coach here in Maple Heights for a number of years in soccer, basketball, and a number of other areas. There are people who are willing to be coaches, but they don't trust and they don't believe in what's here right now. And so just reaching out to the people, giving them the opportunity to step up and step forward and get involved and engage will inspire them to come forward. That'll help with youth delinquency. Because the youth, it's important for a young person to see themselves in someone they can relate to, someone that doesn't make them feel like an alien, so they can transition from where they are as a young person to an adult. And we need people that can kind of like bridge that gap, not just between the generations, but also between, economic barriers.
I'm supportive of issue 67, which is for the senior center. I'm very supportive of the seniors and the food pantry. In terms of youth delinquency and addressing youth issues, I've been now working with some of the churches in the community who are very interested in doing community outreach, whether it's after school, tutoring, homework, home, and youth programs. And so working with the nonprofits and the churches in the community that want to do outreach, that have resources that can also pull in grant money, that's the way of how we can address the youth, especially with a city that has limited financial resources available. By working with the resources in the community, we can address that issue. As well as there also needs to be a conversation between the city government and the schools, because there are issues that we can work together in partnership. And it takes the cooperation as well as the community discussion to identify the different issues as well as solutions that we can work together.
To go back to like what Ron was asking, like what would you see accomplished in the next 2 years? My question is something similar to that, but basically, what will you guys do to change the mindset of the community? There's so much negativity that we hear, and any politician or anybody that's doing door knocking right now hear how the city has gone down, it's not the way it used to be. Well, you know what? It's never going to be the way it used to be. But what would be your plan to instill pride back into where you live and to change the negativity into a positive? There's so many positive things and so many good things that are here in the city, and all we're focusing on right now is the negative.
With that, it was stated that there are a number of people who live in poverty within the city. There are a number of resources that are available to our disposal if we pursue them. One of which is the WEP program, Work Employment Program, in the city of Cleveland, which allows people who are receiving government assistance, who are on welfare, to go out. They're required to go out and work at a nonprofit. Maple Heights is a nonprofit agency. We can actually have those people work directly with the city, inspiring them not only to increase the skills and the training that they receive, but also to instill a sense of pride within the community. You give that person a t-shirt that has the Maple Leaf on it. They go out, they go around, people asking, where you working? I work for the city of Maple Heights. That inspires pride. Not only are they working with the city of Maple Heights, they may not get paid by the city of Maple Heights, we have to be creative. So that will allow us to increase our workforce, provide people at the parks to make sure that our young people can play in safety. Only thing they need is a walkie-talkie so that they can call a police officer. In addition to that, working with our police force, making sure our police force is the safest and upholding the legislation that was put in place here in the city of Cleveland to make sure that the citizens' police relations are solid.
Richard.
It's a very good question. One of the things that we need to do is we need to rebrand the city. Because what's being projected out, both in the community as well as outside of the county, is negativity. And it's not happening just with Maple Heights, it's happening in Cleveland Heights, it's happening in Garfield Heights. All these inner suburbs are facing the same issues, is this negativity. What we need to be doing is we need to be engaging and validating the residents and getting them to take ownership of the community. Because remember, the city is not the council or the mayor, it is the people that make up the city. So working with the residents, for example, there are small pocket parks. We can be working with Home Depot and some of the other businesses and having cleanups, planting flowers, doing things to beautify small areas of the city, getting involved with the youth, doing different things to get the residents to feel good about the community on the soft issues while we're addressing the hard press issues, the financial issues, the economic development, infrastructure and so forth. So that's how we can change the trajectory and the image of the city. As well as the city officials, we have to come up with a way of how we're going to rebrand ourselves. We have a lot of hometown businesses. There's the garden center, there's the bakery that have, in Verona's that have been here.
This is directed to Mr. Mitchell. I'm about community organizations. Could you please give me some specifics on that and pique my curiosity?
Community organization,
Yes.
specifics of community organization. Bring back a forum, like monthly meetings where the entire community, you can still have block clubs meeting once a month within their own individual areas. But once a month, every single month, bring all those block clubs together so they can share information across the board. And address the issues, also share safety concerns. In addition to that, you increase the potential of people power. People power offsets financial responsibility when you apply for grants, okay? Once you have people in place, you meet at least 10 people consistently. You can apply for grants, neighborhood block grants for the city of Cleveland, other grants that are available from the grant center located downtown. There are a number of ways that bring the community together and organizing the community so they can address their issues. You get feedback directly, consistently throughout the year from the people, from the residents on the issues that we face and the issues that we have to make legislation and make decisions on as city council. It's a constant way of allowing the people's voice to be heard.
Everybody's question been asked and answered?
I have one more question.
This will be the last question.
Two things. Maple Heights has a reputation of not being a business-friendly city, and I can say that personally. And I have been to a number of grand openings recently, and I can tell you, I'm rarely city council persons, and the feedback has been, who's my council person? How do I navigate through City Hall? I think that visibility is very, very important. You guys have both stated, and we all know collectively that we're in financial trouble. So we have a business coming here. I think it sends the wrong message when someone has made a decision to invest in the city and have gone through the hoops that you have to go through, escrow and all of those things, and they're excited enough to have a grand opening, and we don't have a city council person there. You know, we talk about community organizing. Visibility is important. I would certainly hope that whoever sits in that seat has a commitment to making sure you establish, we don't have a local chamber of commerce, it's regional now, that you'd make a point that it's on your calendar to go and make those business persons who care enough and believe enough still to invest in this city, that you would be at those grand openings. On that same note, there used to be guys who come to council all the time talking about the welcome wagon. If I'm there, it's coming back. Our council person, Ms. Tony Jones, there's a quality of life brochure. That's the perfect time to present that. Proactive rather than reactive. So when we go out and we welcome them, good communities welcome neighbors. Years ago, they brought cakes and cookies.
Do we have a question there?
So my comment is the visibility. I want you to tell me how you would respond to make this as a city to be more business friendly and to new residents. What would you do? Do they understand that they're welcome? And also, how would you help them, let them know that you're a resource and they can navigate through those things? I just want to set it up, but that's it. Sorry.
Well, one of the things I would work on is hosting a we're a community of small businesses. For example, the schools are the largest employer in the city. We are the backbone of our economy is small businesses and the residents that live here. We do not have an economic director currently. I think that's very integral in the city to be having an economic development director. But what the council president and the council can do is we can have small business forums where we're connecting the Southeast Chamber of Commerce, the resources from the county's economic development department, as well as from the state. Engaging the small businesses, hearing what their concerns are as small business owners are in the city, but also connecting them with resources so that we can retain and grow small businesses in the community, because the backbone of our financial resources are property taxes and income taxes. So we have more people working in the city, that's more income, as well as more businesses, that's property taxes. So that's one thing that we can be doing.
I did everything the councilman just said, but in addition to that, like I've been working in Maple Heights. I could have took a job outside of Maple Heights when this entire process started. I stayed in Maple Heights and working at Brooks Insurance over on Broadway and a gas station over on Lee Road. As a test for myself, I like to put myself in a position so I'm learning on the fly, right? I can't expect someone to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So I stayed in Maple Heights, bypassed the money, keep my money here in Maple Heights. I'm working with the local businesses. I build partnerships with the local businesses. They want their voices heard as well. A neighborhood association will welcome neighborhood businesses in as well. That's what a neighborhood association does. And the neighborhood association not just takes the responsibility of making sure and ensuring that the businesses that come to our neighborhood are just decided by the government, but also by the people, the residents. When I worked at Sloppy Business Development, there were a number of people who wanted to get liquor licenses. They had to go through the neighborhood associations just to have an opportunity to speak to the local government. So the people were more engaged, more involved. In addition to that, one thing that I talk about a lot, I love the welcome back idea. And that's what I was saying earlier about our council members meeting our residents when they're moving in, providing them with the resources, telephone numbers, as well as trying to inspire our local businesses to give our residents maybe a 2% discount to keep money in-house, to keep them in Maple Heights, just by creating a brochure when they go spend money within Maple Heights.
I said that was the last question, but we have one more question from a person that wears a gun. I'm gonna let him ask his question.
Just have one question, it's for both of you. Obviously, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel when you're looking at doing something. Both of you are going to be in a position for the next 2 years, I believe, where you're going to have a heavy influence on where the city goes and how it goes in terms of, and also working with other members of council and whoever is elected mayor. My question is this. There are obviously a number of cities who've been through the things that we've been through and are going through now, and have successfully overcome the issues that we overcome. So my question to both of you is, first, I'd like you to each identify a city that you feel has gone through similar things that we have gone through and been successful in the outcome, and what your plan is, or I'd like you to identify those cities, and then what your vision is in terms of bringing this city to a similar conclusion. Thank you.
I'm not scared to go first. There are a number of cities, actually. One that's dear to my heart is Mitchellville, Maryland. Most of you might not know about Mitchellville, Maryland. It's in Maryland, if you get an opportunity to look it up. Recent or locally, Warrensville Heights, Garfield Heights. I worked with Garfield Heights. They went through the same situation, financial emergency. They're in the process of turning things around. Warrensville Heights, wow, to be honest with you. And that, wow, that's the only thing I can say about Warrensville Heights. And part of the reason Warrensville Heights is making that transition is because they are not only from the top, but all the way to the bottom, residents included. Everybody is involved and engaged. Everyone feels welcome. Everyone feels valued. Their police force works with their local government. Their police force has a partnership with their residents. Those are the things that inspire people. And that's what I want to bring to the city of Maple Heights. We have to re-inspire our citizens. There was a time when I was younger living here in Maple Heights where all the basketball hoops disappeared. Same process is happening right now. When that happened when we were younger, a lot of people got in trouble. Teen pregnancy skyrocketed, drug use, gang violence, all those things skyrocketed. And those are the things that we have to see in order to be prepared for, being proactive and taking the proper necessary steps to prevent those things from occurring again.
With the financial situation we have and the fiscal plan that we're going to have to come up with, when that mayor, whether it's the current mayor or the next mayor forms the committee and we have to pass our financial recovery plan, it's not about inspiration or block clubs. It's about constructive ideas and how we're going to change the trajectory of the city's financial needs. I mean, we have a $2.6 million deficit. We had cameras on the ballot. That was defeated. We've made significant cuts. So it's going to be, okay, how can we change the financial needs of the community in terms of, can we share any additional resources? We already have a centralized dispatch center. How else can we reduce our costs, whether it's healthcare costs, fuel costs? Those are all things we're going to have to examine and study in terms of how to get our finances straight. We have a deficit that we're paying down while the city is also operating it simultaneously. We have another financial cut coming up next year. We don't know those numbers yet, but the city's property value has again plummeted. So we have concrete issues that we have to address while also moving the city forward. So I'm, as a realist, I don't have all those answers. There's still other things, information that we're going to have to deal with when we get that next year.
Okay, I want to thank both candidates for your participation.
I'm sorry. Man, I raised my hand every time. So, when the police chief asked a question, and Richard, I think you might need to ask it again, because I think he was saying, what city is the most comparable maybe to Maple Heights, or what we'd like to maybe aspire to be, and I would like it to be maybe the inner ring suburbs, and he gave the example of Warrensville Heights. There's a lot of other suburbs that are near us or a little bit further out that have had the proper leadership in order to do great things. Or we've been kind of stagnant in certain things. So what would you like to have us aspire to be?
Well, I mean, looking at, for example, Warrensville Heights had financial issues. But Warrensville Heights is a different community than Maple Heights. They have close access to the freeway. All the development is happening off of the freeway. We have Granger Road. It's all residential. You have to go through Garfield Heights to get into Maple Heights. We have Warrensville Center Road. It's all residential. Warrensville Heights, they're buffered by, they have Harvard Park Plaza. They're buffered by Orange, Beechwood. There's a lot of development that Warrensville has coattailed off of from the surrounding communities and based on the social economics. We're a different case. We've made a lot of significant cuts. Garfield Heights, yeah, they were in financial emergency, but they're now facing the same financial issues. They have almost 14% financial depreciation in their housing value. I mean, there's more cuts that are happening. There is one community, Massillon, Ohio, but they're different communities. Every financial case with the city is different. It's not a cookie cutter plan. There's going to be things that we can learn from those cities, but there's things that are going to be totally different because the variables are different. As well, there's been a lot of significant cuts that have already been done prematurely that those other communities did not do. So the situation is a little different. You can't just simply say, I want to model myself after this community or Solon, because the social economics are different, the housing market's different. I mean, Maple Heights was the epicenter of the financial collapse and foreclosures. We have hundreds of homes that are vacant. So it's not as if we're looking at Solon, that's a white-collar community. We're Maple Heights, it's a working-class community. There's a lot of changing variables that are continuously changing.
Can I say something about that?
I'm not.
Maple Heights. Maple Heights is 25 minutes from everywhere. Maple Heights is a prime place to be a renaissance area for the entire county. Everyone that lives in Maple Heights is connected to people all across the county. They come through Maple Heights. We have Southgate, we have Mapletown. We inspire our community, our citizens to start working together, create a safer community. That inspires businesses to come here. You say inspire is not important. Inspiring is the most important thing you can do in a community like ours. If the people don't feel they are valued, they are not going to come out and get involved. They're not going to get engaged. So being a realist, realistically speaking, how do we reach them? By meeting them, by knocking on the doors, by standing in front of them and taking the ridicule that our city's going down and showing and demonstrating the ability to pick it back up. By going out there and sacrificing our time, our energy, our efforts, sweating along with them, cleaning up this neighborhood, getting out there, not sending people out there or asking them to come out, but actually going out there and working side by side with them to clean this neighborhood up. Other communities that are like this, Garfield's the same way. Garfield is currently making that transition. I work with this city. I work with Maple Heights. I work with Garfield. We have the same issues that everyone else faces. The difference is how do they address them? Do they address them as individuals, or do they address them collectively as a team?
Closing remarks, 30 seconds on why you should vote for me. 30 seconds.
I'm asking for your support this November because I I've served 3 terms on city council. I understand the community, I'm a hometown boy, I understand the issues. I'm a pragmatist. I look at things realistically. I understand both as a practitioner as well as from academics. And in this position, we need someone that really thoroughly understands the city's needs, and can apply an actual plan to addressing the solutions with the administration, as well as can work with people, actually produce results, not say sound bites that sound really good to the residents, but can actually get out and do things and has something to show for merit. So I'm asking for your support, because we need someone with experience that can come to the table with concrete ideas. And so that's why I'm asking for your support for November 3rd.
I'm asking, why should you vote for me? 6 years. It speaks for itself. 6 years, we are where we are right now. We have to make a transition. There are so many resources that are available within our community that are untapped. 6 years. 6 years to go and inspire people to get involved and engaged. 6 years, it hasn't happened. And in fact, it has gone backwards. Financially, where are we with the Maple Heights? We don't know. Current council has not told us. We have to go on the auditor's website, which states not that we're 2.5, but like 24.5 million in the hole from the bills that we owe. Go on the auditor's site, you'll see for yourself. 6 years, transparency. Why? I will be transparent. I am here to speak for the people. I'm not here just for Aaron Mitchell. Yes, it would be great to have a position, but I'm here because there are millions of me that are in the same position who have no hope, who believe they can't do something positive for their community, who are not inspired to be engaged within the city of Maple Heights, and that's what I can bring. Those people are out there. We've been talking. I got involved in politics because I met with a councilwoman and she taught me politics, because we met
Mr. Mitchell.
trying to build a neighborhood association.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I want to thank both the candidates for coming and participating in this forum. I think we should give them a round of applause.